Right then, two big games to deal with today. PSV second leg, just got to make sure we don't do anything stupid there. And then it's second v third as we play Barcelona in a game that might well just decide who finishes in second. But I've got literally nothing to get you caught up on, so it's straight into the game today. There's about 4 days in between the two games from last episode to this episode, and nothing of note happened. Now, I've only got 18 players that will actually work here, so they're the 18 players that are going to be on the pitch / on the bench. And at the same time, I'm just going to give a breather to the people I can give a breather to. There's some that I literally can't. Merit in goal, Leg at left back, a player you don't think you've seen all season now. Zikos Antov Poro right back, he's one of those ones I don't have an option for. Konya, Sassi, Suarez, Orsic and Gary on the wings. Araujo up front. Or tell a lie, Monchu's actually back. Not going to be sharp though, so on the bench he goes. Now, Ostrolek has been woeful all season, which is why you've not seen him for probably about 4, 5, 6 episodes at this stage. I thought he'd be a functional backup. He's no. But I need to make sure I rest both Antov and Poro in particular for the Barcelona game, because they will have to play that one. But of course, we do go into this game with a 4-1 away victory, so even 3-0 away for PSV will not be enough. They need to win 4-0. Two players have been booked immediately for them. What are they doing? Pedro Poro with a throw-in. Gary charging down the right. Sassi as, well, that's 5-1. Game over. Admittedly, this might end up being a little bit anticlimactic, this particular match, but Barcelona, still a massive game there, even though it's not really going to affect the title. Both of us heading towards Champions League football. It's just basically who's got the bragging rights of being second. Not sure it affects the prize money that much, because the Spanish League prize money isn't fantastic to begin with. I'm not even sure the Spanish prize money is even done on position anyway. Orsic on this left-hand side. It's found Araujo in the middle. It's 2-0. Definitely game over. But basically, what's going to happen now is we're going to play Barcelona next, of course, and the next episode we'll deal with the end of the season, maybe. If the end of the season is looking like it's going to be completely pointless, then I'll just do the next episode as the final, as it seems like we're heading towards it. Because I've dragged this season out as long as I possibly can already with all these European games. Don't really want to add a largely irrelevant couple of league games to the list, really. Like, I'm sure you appreciate and enjoy the journey that we've been on in Europe this season, and you're fully on board having all the extra episodes this particular season compared to the previous two. But I don't want to extend it any more than I actually have to. Gary, Poro, tackled. Poro again. Gary, Sassi. It's 3-0. We're 20 minutes in here. I feel like I've seen almost an entire game's worth of highlights already. We're only 20 minutes in. And considering this lot, I mean, I went silent for a second there. I just watched that one go through the goalkeeper. He's had a nightmare there. Considering this is not my first 11, by any stretch of the imagination, this has gone rather comfortably so far. Although they might get a goal here. They do. Good finish, actually. Merit's a good goalkeeper. Went under him. Guess he wasn't expecting that to be low and driven. Good run from the player there as well. I mean, Zikos not the fastest. I think he's the one that's failed to get in the way of that, but it's a good finish. It's a very good finish. I mean, if they get anywhere near to being into this game, I'm going to be furious now. Conrad charging forward. Sassi, good tackle. No foul there. Good. Apparently they're learning. Did they do anything? There was a recent update to Football Manager. Don't know if they tweaked anything regarding the penalties and that, but that was a good tackle, and it was regarded as such. That's been pumped into the box. Araujo can make it 4-1. Claeson's made a save, although Orsic will keep it in. Put it back into the box, and now they're probably going to deal with it. Indeed, they do. But Gary with 2 goals, seemingly so far. That's a good showing from him. Gary with 2 assists so far. Merit gathers that particular shot. We've had a lot of highlights. That was not the end of that particular one. Orsic doesn't get on under that. The 2 book players combine. Dumfries, still at PSV. Puts the ball into the box, and no, it's not a second bite of the cherry for them. It might actually be a break for us, as Gary... Wow, that's a run. He's run into a player, but he's maintained possession. Araujo actually gets the finish and he's hit the post. 26 minutes gone. That was about the 14th highlight. Can we get to half time without it? No. Have I got this on extended? Just want to let this highlight play out. That was probably a block highlight. Nope, still on key highlights. I might have to bring Poro off, which is why I didn't start Sotalo. Gary's got injured. That's not good news. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to exacerbate that. Callado on. Fine in the middle here for them. although they have been anything but so far. Suarez, that's a good, another chance. We can probably count ourselves fortunate not to be more than one goal conceded here. Blimey, that was a fine effort. That was Tielemans-esque. Well done, Leicester, by the way. I love the fact that Liverpool are knocking on the door of that fourth spot right now. If Chelsea don't get Champions League football after sacking Frank Lampard, justice. I maintain the fact that Frank Lampard should not have been sacked. I think Frank Lampard would have got a top 4 finish regardless. I don't think he would have got to the FA Cup or Champions League finals, though. I do think they would have been bettered by Man City and Atletico, actually, if Frank was still in charge. I think Frank would have played right into Atletico's hands, whereas Tommy Tuchel out Atletico by being even more boring. But yeah, I would absolutely be overjoyed if Chelsea don't get Champions League football as a result of sacking Frank, because I think Frank would have got top 4 because he was at the very least capable of beating the average teams, which Tommy Tuchel's made a hash of a lot of the time. The fact that they've only scored 3 goals in one game under Tuchel is ridiculous. Do you know how many games Chelsea scored 3 goals or more in before Frank Lampard was sacked? 14. 14 times. And they've only done it once under Tuchel, which is absurd. Didn't they get through the FA Cup round under Tuchel 1-0? They just managed to squeeze a championship side 1-0. Meanwhile, Frank beat Barnsley 6-0 and Barnsley are in the playoffs. They're not even that bad. Might even be Barnsley again, actually, thinking about it. Different competitions, obviously. Dumfries, coming forward. I'd love Barnsley to go up, by the way, though. Just speaking of the playoffs, I'd love Barnsley to go up. I had colleagues who supported Barnsley. I don't want them to go up for that reason. It'd just be nice to see a different name up there. Suarez has made it 3-2 here. I've largely not cared about this now. Oh, I should exploit a 6.4. What a surprise. Well, I will have to do some fitness-saving substitutions at some stage here. Parra is probably going to come off with Sotalo as the only other right back. They've had 5 bookings. Considering all the yellow card warnings were wiped at the first leg of this, I think we've done all right here. There was no one who was booked in the first leg who seems to be in danger in this leg either. So we've got a clean slate for the final, unless anyone gets sent off, of course. They might make it 3-3 here, which, irrelevant, and that was terrible defending. I feel like Merritt deserves more than a 6.8, despite the fact he has conceded 2 goals. I've seen a bunch of really good saves from him. Again, Rafinha. The fact that Napoli were willing to let him go is absolutely ridiculous, but it happens quite often. There's always, like I said, when I signed him, there's always one really good goalkeeper in Italy that gets transfer listed for no apparent reason. I think it happened with Handanovic at the end of my first season at Napoli. He's still good for 1 or 2 more years, really. 3-2, they've got to get 4 goals. I might actually genuinely just bring on Alex Lopez-Ferrantov here for the last 15. Cognac fine, I can bring Herrera back in midweek. Real Madrid do the business on Spurs. Oh, actually, no, Spurs won that first leg 3-0. That will have gone to extra time. It's the first time I've actually paid attention to the other game. That would have gone to extra time. PSV were actually all over us by the end of it. 14 shots on target, blimey. It's supposed to be to stop caring, but still won the match. And the entire leg comfortably. Not many people would have predicted a Euro Cup final place for Tenerife. The fact that we got knocked into it probably gave us a little bit of help. I'm chuffed. So extra time saw Tottenham score a goal, and therefore they've gone through. So it will be Spurs in the final. That's interesting. We know that we don't really match up to Real Madrid. I feel a little bit more comfortable about Spurs. I'm going to be in the Puskás Arena in Hungary, I want to say. Carries out for 2 weeks. He will be back for that final. 2 million. Very pleased. Tenerife, first ever Euro Cup final. I am delighted. I just said it was something we targeted. Considering we started the season in the Champions League, not really certain we targeted the final here, but realistically, it was a very good expectation considering the group we were in. Yeah, we had 2 very good teams in our group, and I fully expected to finish 3rd. I would say we targeted it, but wasn't unexpected. The Spurs are 3rd in the Premier League. The top 6 are the big 6 right now, so that's fine. 3 games to go, I would say the top 4 are comfortably top 4 right now. It's very unlikely any of them are going to fall out. Speaking of Chelsea missing out on Champions League football, haha. Is Frank still in charge in the game? No. Of course, I started this after the update. So Tuchel will have been in charge, and he survived 1 season, as did Valverde. Gone well for them. I'll be honest, I'd be surprised if this lad isn't sacked either. Lad, he's older than me. Should I say, Arsenal progressed past Rangers, unsurprisingly, with a 5-1 advantage. I think the home leg for Rangers was 2-2. I think they drew the home leg. They are playing Manchester City in the final, so it will be Spurs versus us in the Europa League, and it's it's Arsenal versus Manchester City in the other. So 3 out of the 4 finalists are English, and the other is Spanish, which, now I think about it, who says Football Manager isn't realistic? Good to see that the suggestions being made by my assistant manager are the ones I was likely to do. The only thing I might do is actually put Antov in over Sassy as well. Might keep Antov on the bench for the flexibility. Oh, he's developing. 16 years old. He's at 2.5 star. Good God, actually. 16 years old. He was a youth intake poach. Wow, he's really good. I don't think he was this good when I nicked him. He might genuinely be a contender for making appearances in the final stretch of this season. Not against Barcelona, but the remainders. This is why Krasniqi rang a bell on my stream save right now. There was a player available called Krasniqi. I was just thinking, I swear I've seen this player before. It's because I've got the same surname here. Twitch.tv/AmazingChi. Mondays, Fridays. For Football Manager. Anyway, under 23s look alright mostly. Sorry, B team, same difference. I'm not sure if I said this already, but I did do a fair bit of youth intake poaching. We had a few million left in the bank and that. And I thought that's probably a good use for it. So we've got a few proper youngsters coming in at the end of the season. The one I just showed you is one of the few that came in immediately because I think Portugal, Spain, they allowed that to happen. The rest of them come in either at the end of the season or when they turn 18. So hopefully a few of them will come good. I just saw that Espanyol relegated Valladolid. So Valladolid down. Espanyol were in danger towards the beginning of the year. I'm intrigued to know if our old friends are doing all right now. They're in 15th and 7 points is the gap. Although they played a game more, so 4 points. Depending on what Eibar do against Zaragoza here. Vigo play Madrid. Atletico play Villarreal. Atletico, by the way, in 8th. Nowhere near as good as they are in real life right now. Hope they win that title in real life as well. Just to stick it to Real Madrid and Barcelona. By the way, say it quietly, but Sevilla might leapfrog Barcelona into 3rd. I would so love it. I would so love it if both Luis Suarez and Ivan Rakitic finished ahead of Barcelona with their new clubs. That would be sweet poetic justice. Eibar drew, so it's going to be 6 points for Espanyol. I think they'll be all right. I just noticed Real Madrid won in the 92nd minute there. Oh, of course, Moncho is ineligible against Barcelona, which is a bit awkward, but spare right back. I did forget to rest Antov, so that was a bit awkward on my part, but the other two seem to be fine. Porro and Sotalo on yellow card warnings. Andres Herrera, Lodi back in at left back, and I think that solves everything for the time being. It does indeed, yes. So, merit and goal, Lodi, Zikos, Sotalo, Porro, Herrera, Sassi, Suarez, Orsic and Gallardo, and Koita up front. One Barcelona loanee is not available for this, and one former Barcelona player will start. Can Gallardo get one up on Barcelona at home to them this time round? Their team is interesting, not dramatically different. Left back, one centre back, one midfielder. That's it. Even the bench, I think I'm pretty certain, is their players. So form, they are top of the form tables. So that's the way we line up. We've just got one loss in our last 4, and that is to Real Madrid, of course. Whereas I presume they've won 5 in a row. No, they've got exactly the same form, but their loss was further ago. So I'm not fully certain how that works out. So I told the boys to raise our game to their level, when their level apparently is exactly the same as ours. Fair enough. But of course, there is a familiar face in that lineup, not just because we're playing Barcelona again, of course, but Christian Romero in centre-back. If you follow my Sheffield United save, I did sign him towards the end of that. Sassy's taken an injury, hasn't he? Great. But yeah, I did sign Christian Romero towards the end, and he was bloody brilliant. And so far, both defences seem to be stacking up. Either both attacks are being absolutely rubbish, or both defences are being sensational, because not a lot has happened. Although again, 2 of their defenders have been booked. Could maybe target Roberto's side in this second half, as the first half runs away with no highlights. None at all. Combined XG of less than 0.5. What a thrilling game second v third is putting on. And I think I will actually tell him to focus down the left-hand side. Target that Roberto yellow. And I might need to bring Sassi off. He has recovered a little bit. Work it into the box as well. Get that opportunity in. It's confusing that they're in black because that's our away kit main colour as well. But we are playing in our home kit. Oh, that is... Oh dear. That's Lenglet, who's on a yellow as well. He wasn't the last man, so it wouldn't have been a straight red anyway. The other defender was further back, although strictly speaking in that situation, he technically was the last man, because there was no one else with a chance of getting between him and the goalkeeper. But the game, I don't think, understands that. So if this is a penalty, Lenglet might be off anyway, because it was a bad tackle in the box, so he might get a second yellow for that. I don't know where he's going now. He's gone to Koita. Now he's going to have a word with Lenglet. He's gone the long way around there, and Lenglet is indeed off. So that was a lovely ordeal. Sorry, I didn't cut away when he went to the... Zikos is taking it. He does have really good penalty taking. I just remembered that. He is the Ramos of our side. Spain loves a penalty taking defender, and we are no exception, apparently. Now Zikos takes up and confidently puts it down the middle, threads it between the outstretched legs of the goalkeeper. I said outstretched there, I think, but we'll move on. They put Wijnaldum in defence for the time being. Pedro Porro, Suarez, still targeting that left-hand side where Roberto remains booked, of course. Gallardo, Sotalo, to Sassi, who I probably will have to take off at some point. Now we put it over to Roberto's side. He's got to chase Lodi, He hasn't bothered. He's just let him go into the box. He has recovered, though. Body's put it in. Kayado's at the back post. Kayado gets one up. That's the story I wanted. That's the story I wanted. Kayado gets one over, that's the phrase, one over on his former club, who thought he wasn't good enough. We've picked him up. We know he's a solid squad player. There we go. To the far post. Kayado. Of course, teammates on this pitch right now. Sheffield United teammates, Kayado and Romero. I had both of them over there. Didn't have Messi. Did have Neymar. If you've not watched that, yes, that was an interesting signing. But I'm going to have to take Sassy off. Antov on for half an hour is probably a better choice than Lopez at full fitness. It's a bit harsh, but I don't really have an option. Similarly, I don't really have an option for left wing. The best I can do is probably bring Kayado across and then bring on Konya. Or push Pedro Porro forward. But Konya makes more sense, I think. And it's worth noting, they had 0.25 XG very early on. About 20 minutes in that popped up, and they've done nothing since. Of course, their sending off doesn't help. We're still targeting Roberto. They moved De Jong into central defence, which makes much more sense than Wijnaldum. I can't work out where to put Coutinho, though, which is amusing me greatly. Yeah, Herrera, just come back from an injury, might be worth taking him off now for Lopez for the last few. As Messi has a free kick, which is always dangerous, of course. It's well delivered, and De Jong at the back post makes it 2-1. Irritatingly, they've done nothing all game, and now they've nicked a goal. With 5 minutes to go, thereabouts, assuming a minute or two of injury time. There was a penalty, of course. Yeah, continue with that. 5 minutes for injury time, in fact, so there was a little bit more than I was expecting. But we do see it out. We do get the victory on Barcelona. Of course, that helps the head-to-head as well, going forward. I love the fact I targeted Sergio Roberto for the second yellow, and it was the second I did that, Lenglet got sent off instead. Carlo didn't celebrate, apparently. But 5 points is the gap on Barcelona. Sassy's out for a few days, that's fine. We've qualified for the Europa League again, no matter what. Let's be real, though. We are 11 points clear of San Sebastian Sociedad, so we should be right there as well. I'm actually really rooting for Almeria now as well. They've been up there all season, and actually, the Euro Cup final happens before the final game. What? Why is that a thing? Why is that not happening? I mean, of course, Spanish league finishes later than most. That's why that's happened. It would be after the season if I was in any other country, but Spain finishes a lot later for some strange, bizarre reason. I think it's because we have a winter break. So in that case, I will be doing the last game of the season because the final will be the focus, but depending on how long that is in terms of highlights, I may include the final game of the season as well, just for completionist's sake. That'll be a bridge I'll cross when I get to it. I will be doing the final as the main focus of that particular episode. I will see you for that very soon. We'll just check real quick before I go what the Barcelona result was the first time round. 3-0 loss. We don't have the head-to-head. So we do need to maintain our positioning ahead of them because they will have that advantage should they get on the same points. But I'll let you know what the situation is in the league when we return for that final. Until then, hurrah.